It's been really great to be here today. I've enjoyed talking about AI and AI regulation to a really interesting audience. I was really interested to see the demo of your internal ChatGPT product and its use within teams, the virtual teams for physical teams. I haven't seen anything like that before, and I think it's a fantastic use of generative AI to use it on internal documentations and data that you trust, and to train it on that. And then you'll be able to show other people how to do that. I was really excited to see that too.
So here at BDO, we have been researching and developing around the Azure OpenAI framework for the last 6 months, nearly a year now. And we have built some incredible AI assistants internally. In developing this assistant, C5 has created a framework for these assistants, which means that we can very rapidly spin up assistants for clients on any subject matter. The example you're about to see is HR, but there are many other use cases in organizations out there that we have already implemented this framework for and bringing benefits to companies around the island.
So AVA's our latest HR assistant powered by GPT-4. I log in using my Microsoft Entra ID in exactly the same way as if I logging into Outlook, Teams, any of the Microsoft products. And what this means is that Ava is context aware. She knows who I am, my job title, what team I'm in, and my manager.
So presumably as an internal Azure OpenAI model, when you log in as you, that authentication is passed down and you can safely share all your corporate data with the model.
Precisely. So as Ava is a HR assistant, she has access to a number of HR policies and documents, including our employee handbook. So if I have a question regarding our policies, for example, does the company cover eye tests, I can ask that of Ava. So as you can see, it's given me a nice answer. And it's also showing the sources, so exactly where it found the answer in the employee handbook. And we've added that right into the UI so that users can see where in the PDF that Ava found that information. And this really helps with trust and the users not kind of thinking, is Ava hallucinating? Where she found that information? She's found it in our employee handbook, as shown right on the screen. So what we also have is the ability to see the thought process. So this shows exactly how Ava came to the answer that she did. And that starts by deciding what is the most likely source to contain the answer to our question. In this case, the employee handbook, which is held in a cognitive search index, which is an Azure service that basically allows us to index up all our PDFs and text documentation and optimize them for searching in the same way that the technology behind Bing works. Once we've decided that the source is the cognitive search index, we then use GPT to construct an optimized search query. So in this case, it's converted my question, does C5 cover eye tests, to a search query of eye tests coverage. And that's what it uses to search the cognitive index. So as you can see, we're saying answer only with the facts listed in the list of sources below. If there isn't enough information, say you don't know, don't generate answers that don't use the sources below. And this is really important in making sure Ava answers based on our documentation rather than the knowledge it has of large parts of the internet that it was trained on, being a GPT model. Also, we've got a line in here that says, be brief and bubbly in your answers as if you're a friendly member of the HR team. And this controls the tone and the kind of feel of the response that Ava gives and can be adjusted based on the context of the assistant.
Amazing. So as this is a GPT model, presumably you can have a conversation and follow up with additional questions about the same subject.
Exactly. So I've asked the first question, and now if I want to ask a follow-up question about who I would make such a claim to, I can do. And as you can see, it's told me I should make this to my manager, and it's augmented my personal data, the fact that my manager is David Scott, and added that into its answer. So it's combined two data sources, the employee handbook and my personal information.
Great, and I guess one of GPT's other skills is multilingual, being able to interpret languages. So as an HR bot and having employees from various different nationalities, can we use the multilingual ability of GPT?
We can. And as you can see, I can ask a question in, for example, Spanish. Can I wear shorts to work? And it will give me an answer that I can't in Spanish. And the really nice part is all the documentation is, of course, in English. The prompt in system message is still in English, but because I've asked the question in Spanish, it knows I'm going to give the answer in Spanish.
So could I use AVA to access information that I wouldn't usually have access to?
Not at all. How the security is set up, because I'm logged in using my Microsoft Entra ID, mimics exactly how the security is set up within my organization normally. So if I can access that document by going directly to the document, then I can access it via AVA. If I can't, then no, AVA has no access during my session to see that documentation. For example, in this demo, I can ask questions of my contract. So if I want to know what is my address, as you can see, there it is. And again, with the citation, with the sources right there, clickable, and able to see exactly where that information came from. However, if I tried to access your contract, again, as you can see, I can ask, for example, what's your address? It's not going to tell me. And that's because behind the scenes, this bot with me logged in has absolutely no access to your contract or any documentation that I don't have access to.
So you've shown us how AVA can access PDF documents, unstructured documentation throughout the business. Presumably AVA can also connect to other data sources, so structured databases perhaps, APIs, etc.
Yes, exactly. And we've hooked AVA up to a SQL database in this example, which contains employee information like their start date, their email, who their manager is, what team they're in. So I can ask a question, for example, who's the newest member of my team? And I get a nice answer. Newest member of my team is Daniel Adams. And again, looking at the thought process, we can see this time content source was the SQL database table with employee details. And what's really nice is we can see the SQL query and results. And this is a completely GPT-generated SQL query based on my natural language question.
That's amazing. So GPT can write SQL all by itself. Presumably that means we could use GPT to allow non-technical people to query databases?
Precisely. It makes that information stored in databases a lot more accessible to people without any prior coding knowledge. And again, I can ask follow-up questions. So for example, if I wanted some more details about everyone in my team and I wanted them in a CSV format, I can ask that question and get a really nice answer.
So one thing though, we've seen AVA retrieving a lot of data, different data sources, which is impressive. But at the moment, we've just seen her pulling data back and presenting that back in her own language to the user. Can we use AVA to actually control systems? Can we get AVA to manipulate and change data on any of these connected systems?
Yes, and now by connecting to APIs, AVA is able to talk to external systems and perform tasks. For example, AVA is connected to our own HR application and is able to deal with holiday bookings and holiday requests. So as you can see, I can first ask AVA how many holidays do I have left, and that's live information that she's pulling back from People HR. And then what I can also do is ask her to actually book me a new holiday. So I just give some information. As you can see, she then knows exactly the details she needs to book that holiday. I give that back to her. She confirms these are the details of my holiday, And there we go, all booked.
That's impressive. So I guess in summary, what we're building here, what we have built here is an assistant which sits across an organization's various applications and data sources, allowing people to have one point of contact for getting information out of these systems, but also from updating these systems as well. It's an astonishing achievement. Fantastic. Thanks for showing us, Ethan. Thank you very much for watching our presentation today, and we hope you enjoyed meeting AVA. If you'd like to talk to us about use cases within your organization, perhaps see a more detailed demo about the technology and framework that sits behind AVA, please get in touch with us, C5 Alliance and the Data and AI team. Thank you very much.